Welcome to the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show, created and hosted by Scott Knudsen to explore the crossroads of horses and the business world. On today's show, Scott visits with Vice President of Marketing and Product Development for Breyer Horses, Stephanie Macejko. Now here's your host, Scott Knudsen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. I'm your host, Scott Knudsen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Whether you're listening to us on the radio on KCAA, the NBC affiliate out in California, or watching our podcast on many of our platforms, we appreciate it. We have a great show today. I know you're going to love it. It's going to inspire you, educate you, and it's going to take you back to when you were a child. So today we have Stephanie Macejko on. Stephanie is Vice President of Marketing, and she's also the product developer for Breyer. So Stephanie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hi, Scott. It's really great to be here. I'm so glad to be on.
Oh, it's so much fun. And I guess we'll start with something big that just happened. Zoetis and American Horse Publications Equine Industry Vision Award. And this is a big award in the whole industry. This is a big deal.
It is. I was so thrilled when Chris from American Horse Publications called me. She called me early on in the year to tell me that Breyer had been named the winner of this award. And I just was so ecstatic. And I called my boss, the owner of the company, and said, "Hey, Tony, you're not going to believe this. You can't tell a soul. We can't reveal it until September, but we were the winners of the award." And he said, "Oh my God, I can retire now. You know, we've reached the pinnacle." And he was serious. And that's how we feel, really, because this particular honor really feels like it is a way for Breyer to be recognized for all it's done over its 70 years. And the incredible thing is we, of course, were in wonderful competition with some incredible horsemen and other equestrian organizations that have done so much for the industry and are so well recognized. And in fact, horsemen that we've worked with over the years to make models of their horses. So it's been really, it was really fun, though, for Breyer to actually get the nod and be in such good company. Because of the fact that over the 70 years, we've been doing so much to try and engage kids into the horse industry. And that's really what we're so proud of is getting kids who, you know, may not be involved with real horses to start with. They may just have a passion for horses or even just an interest in animals, but yet they get hooked on, you know, having model horses. They play with them. They start learning about all the different breeds and disciplines. And then they start to take riding lessons and buy tack and, you know, really get themselves involved in the horse world. And that's what we're really trying to do.
That's just amazing. I know we were on a panel together for American Horse Publications a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, with Elizabeth McCall, and that was so much fun. And as you were telling me the stories, I didn't know all that. And I've bought Breyer horses forever. And my daughter's 17, and when she was an infant, I was already adding the collection, and I'd play with them with her. But I didn't know the backstories of Breyer, and for a family-owned company to have the international impact is very well deserving of the award. But I'm just glad the stories are getting out there about what y'all do.
Yes. Yeah. It's really fun. Well, you know, and I was one of those kids who loved horses, didn't have access. My family couldn't, the closest riding stable was a good 30 minutes away. And so I really fueled my passion for horses by learning about them through Breyer models and playing with them. And I got involved in model horse showing, which you compete for real horse ribbons and trophies and prizes. And it's recreating the horse world in miniature on a tabletop. The horses are judged in halter and performance classes. The tack and accessories that get handmade for these horses are truly at an artist level. You could pay easily $500 for a miniature 1/9 scale Western tooled saddle that has all the features of the real thing, but it's tiny, it's made to fit your Breyer models. So it's been kind of cool because I grew up with this and then didn't ever think that I would be part of the company and part of those who have been shepherding the brand for all of these years. So it's really been an incredible journey to be on with the company together.
That's just such a great story. And I think something happened back in high school where you loved horses and somebody said, or you said, I might just go to work for them. And you were like, really?
Well, it was really funny, actually, when I was looking at colleges. I knew actually I wanted to be in marketing and sort of more on the professional side of, finding a career. And someone said, oh, well, yeah, why don't you think about Breyer? And I did think about it and say, well, I don't necessarily want to be spray painting horses. I'm not really an actual artist myself. So at the time, I had no idea that, of course, you could be on the journalism side. I came on board as editor of Breyer's publication, Just About Horses, and event management and marketing and product development in a way that you don't have to be an artist the same way you can get involved in the horse industry. You don't have to be mucking stalls or a vet or a trainer. There's so many different careers within the horse world that you can be a part of. So when I decided on a college, I picked Centenary University in New Jersey, and I was able to go in and with an equine science major, I have a heavy concentration in business marketing. One of my first internships was with the American Horse Shows Association in New York City, where it's now the United States Equestrian Federation in Kentucky. But back in those days, in the early 90s, I worked in public relations. And one of the coolest things I got to do there was there were these media guides for the journalists. And so I had to call all of the Olympic level riders and confirm with them their biographical information, all of their current awards and accomplishments, and then each of their horses and what breeds the horses were and what ages and all of that. So that was just a really fun opportunity to be involved with American Horse Shows. And then a few years later, unless someone left the Horse Shows Association, I didn't really have anywhere to move into a new spot and continue to grow. And Breyer was a sponsor, and they had an opportunity for a new editor of their magazine, Just About Horses. And I thought, I know Breyer, I know horses. So I was able to have the opportunity to come on board as editor. Within the first year, I was managing Breyerfest, which is our big event down in Lexington, Kentucky, and have worn many, many hats with the company ever since.
That's such a great story. And I think the publication won an award as well.
Yes.
Can you show everyone, the guys that are lucky enough and the ladies to watch it on the podcast?
So this is our American Horse Publications 2020 award for the magazine Just About Horses. It's in the business division of custom publications. Our magazine, this is the cover of it.
So cool.
Yeah, that's an American paint horse. That's what we call an original finish model. But the rider figure and the tack set were custom made by some of our hobbyists. And within the magazine, what we're doing, it's an annual publication for our collectors club. And so it is going to tell the backstory of all the different horses we've made models of. So for example, in here, we've got a great set of stories about Adaya, who is a Pinto dressage horse that really has become so well known within the dressage world. And we also have articles. This is the second digital revolution. And it's kind of fun because it talks about some of the influencers within the model horse world who are also horse people, but are very specific to a lot of the arts and crafts in how to repaint your model horses, how to create that custom tack, how to basically reform them into your dream horse. And there's a whole world of customizers who do this as their hobby, as something that they just really enjoy. And then there's a whole world of people who do that and sell them, and that's their career, and that's what they make a living doing.
So cool. So cool. They get to make a living doing that, something they enjoy.
Yes, it's really fun. And what's great is it's all ages. So you have the little kids who are, just getting into it, but love being able to repaint their horses. They want to learn the difference between, a red roan and a blue Gruyere and, Palomino and a buckskin and all of the different horse colors. And they learn a little bit about equine color genetics and how you kind of get there, which is fun too. And then they also just learn the artistry of actually painting it themselves. And in fact, when we host Breyerfest in Lexington, we give away in our painting tent over 10,000 little Breyer stablemates models, because all the kids come and want to paint their horses. And what's funny though, is that we have not only the kids painting, but mom and dad are there painting too. So
it's a family deal. I was on the floor with my daughter playing, and so was my wife. I mean, it just brings the family together,
Yes. Yeah. I know. It's funny. I saw, we always put out lots of toys as well at Briarfest, and because in the Kentucky heat, families want to take a break. So we have a tent where they can get refreshments and just hang out and, cool down a little bit. And there was two little girls playing with one of our truck and trailer sets. And we all started watching because the kids were acting out a horse that wouldn't load. And so she's got this Breyer model, and the horse is stopping and he's not going up on the ramp. And it was funny because actually it was the grandparents who were there with their grandkids.
Oh, that's funny.
And so grandma was like, oh, what's going on with Snowman there? He doesn't want to load. And she's like, yeah, grandma, I'm really having a hard time here. And so then grandmother says, well, what are you going to do about it? And so she was actually thinking through, like, how am I going to get Snowman up on the trailer? And so she was trying different things and, had one of the rider figures behind trying to, encourage him, then went to the front of the trailer and had carrots. And of course, the carrots got Snowman in the trailer, but it was really funny because clearly she was thinking through real life scenarios, but acting it out with her Breyer horses.
That's so cool. Educating herself, and that's what it's all about.
Scott will be right back with more from Stephanie Macejko.
Hi, I'm Scott Knutson, host of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. Today, we're going to talk about something I'm really passionate about. Those that know me know I love my coffee. Those that don't, now you know I do. And we've been working on this for several months, and we wanted to get it just right. And we don't put our name on anything unless we feel 100% certain it's the best product we can get. And we've done it. I really believe we've done it. We've created a coffee line, 13 great flavors. I'm going to show you 3 of them. We have K-Cups in all 13 flavors. Here's a Jamaican Me Crazy. It's just a really great coffee. Everyone has great logos. It has a brand, the same brand that's on our horses, our trailers. That brand means something, and we wouldn't put it on here if it wasn't good coffee. We have whole bean. This is a great Honduran blend, and it's a whole bean coffee. We have whole bean in all 13 flavors. And then we have a ground coffee. This is a really great one. My wife and I really like this a lot, loved it. So we named it after our daughter, Hades Blend. Everyone has the packaging and the logo of the show, our brand, and I hope you like it. I really believe you will. And we're going to have more flavors coming out soon. We're going to have the pumpkin spices, and then we're going to go to peppermint after that. And please send us your suggestions as well. You can find it at cowboyentrepreneur.shop. Think coffee shop. Cowboyentrepreneur.shop. Thank you so much.
And as a horse person, I grew up around horses. I was very blessed the whole time. I'm still with horses. But what I love about the Breyer horses is they're so authentic looking, and they look so real. And you can tell in the pictures in the magazine, if you just look and look away, it really looks like the real deal, which it is. Like to those 2 young ladies, that it's a real deal. But I love the attention to detail on them.
Yes. Well, it all starts with one of the most incredible things is when Breyer started. So Breyer was a molder of plastics. It was Breyer Molding Company out of Rockford, Illinois. And they were making all kinds of things out of what's called cellulose acetate, which is a type of plastic made from cotton linters. And so it's a little more resilient. It's got some flexibility to it. It's not as tinny as some of the other types of materials. And so things like eyeglass frames, television knobs for Zenith, like they molded all kinds of crazy parts. Mastercraft Clock Corporation came and asked for a horse to adorn a mantelpiece clock. And that's how Breyer started, is making this one horse. It was called number 57 Western Horse. And the horse was more popular than the clock. So Breyer started making horses. But what's incredible to me is that the engineer, Chris Hess, who crafted all of these horses and the other things and widgets and things that he did, he was not necessarily a horse person, but he could look at real horses. He could look at photos and video and capture the conformational nuances, the difference between a quarter horse and a thoroughbred and an Arabian and a, saddlebred, with an understanding that to me, it just floors me how, he understood it. And so he brought a lot of what Breyer is today was because of his talent. He brought these horses to life. He gave them incredible expression so that the kids were really drawn in. And then they had all of these different breed characteristics. And that's something that when Breyer was purchased by Reeves International in 1984, after the original owners had passed away, and actually Chris unfortunately had passed away also in the mid 80s, it was something where the owners of Reeves, who were part of the toy industry, they brought to the US, they imported European toys like Steiff teddy bears, Britain's toy soldiers, Corgi die-cast, different types of really quality European toys. So they understood quality, they understood authenticity. And the owner, Werner Fleischmann's daughter, was a rider. So he understood the passion for horses that kids can have. And what's really been interesting is that they also, though, were able to hire sculptors and engineers that continued the tradition of creating horses that were great for playing with, great quality, but at the same time authentic and true to their breed. And that's something, when I started with Breyer in 1993, it's been a long time. I've really taken to heart and have been able to also work so closely with our artists and our engineers to make sure that we capture properly, because everybody's got their own point of view, and a lot of sculptors like to do things really stylized, but that doesn't work for us. Engineers want to make things that are easy to mold and produce, but what I want is the integrity of the piece to be there. Right. So I'm usually in the middle, negotiating between the two, and then trying to get to the end product. I have an example here. This was our Briarfest horse this year. Her name is Danny, and she was a Appaloosa warm blood. But everything from the sculptural detail of this cantering warm blood to the all the nuances of the Appaloosa patterning, all of our models are hand airbrushed right from the start. Probably 20 different artisans touch every Breyer horse as we create them, because in order to capture this detail and expression in each one of our pieces, it's something that you have to, really do by hand. There's no machine that's going to have that level of, subtlety and nuance.
Wow. It's just amazing. It's so beautiful when you hold it up like that. And how cool for you to get to talk to them before they even make it. And then you're at Breyerfest and you see the two girls that are so entranced into that horse, and you get to see both sides. You bridge it, and that's got to be cool.
It is fun, and it's fun working with all the different horse owners. I have the funniest story. When I first started working with Breyer, we were making a model of a famous standardbred, and his name was Niatros. And of course, in Jersey here, there's a lot of harness racing in the whole New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, and so some of the top horses are here. And so he's a bay, like a lot of standardbreds are. And I kept sending the syndicate manager photos of the model, and he's like, no, the color's not quite right. No, I think it needs to be a little darker, a little lighter. And then finally, he said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, well, I'll be here in the office. He said, oh, good, we're coming up. And I said, who's we? And he said, Niatros and I. I said, what? So he, honest to God, so I went out that night and made sure I had a good 5-pound bag of carrots. And next thing I know, at 1 o'clock the next afternoon, a truck and trailer pull up. Niatros gets off the trailer, walks on the front lawn of Reeves International Breyer Animal Creations in Pequannock, New Jersey, which is there's not really any room to ride real horses around on, but there's a patch of lawn. And so he was just so proud of showing off Niatros. And so I had everybody in the company come out, and we brought out the prototype and then looked at the real horse. And wouldn't you know, the first model that we created, he was like, that color's perfect. Which was hilarious. But honestly, it was one of my, well, not my first, but I would say one of the introductions of all the great horse people that we work with that actually are so super, they want to get it right. If their horse is going to be honored as a Breyer model, they want it perfect. And so, yes, I've ended up with horses on our lawn. I've ended up with having to fly out to, you know, a particular location with our artists to make sure we got all of the details correct. I have had owners who, the owners of Zenyatta, the racehorse, Jerry and Ann Moss of A&M Records, who managed the police,
Wow.
Sting, you know,
Yeah.
all the famous people. They actually sent their personal assistant out with the model, and I have photos of the model and Zenyatta together because they wanted to make sure that every detail was absolutely perfect. And so what I love about that is the enthusiasm. And as you know, you can be in a whole crowd of people, and if you find another horse person, you're like, oh, good.
Attraction.
We've got so much in common to talk about because
Absolutely. Well, I think because y'all do such a great job, and it's such an honor that people take such pride when they're selected. You know,
Yeah.
I was with Heritage Mustang for a Mustang makeover in Fort Worth, and a couple of stalls down from Heritage, which I was blessed to ride, was your first Mustang, and they were talking about it. I'll let you tell the story if you don't mind, but they were so proud. They said, he's going to be the first Breyer horse. He's going to be a Breyer horse. And they were so excited. And down deep, I was like, I know the company. It's awesome, you know, but there was such a pride in them.
Mm-hmm. I know it is. It's really fun. And it's just so cool because it doesn't matter. It's all walks of life, all demographics. You know, we've made models of everything from, of course, you know, Triple Crown winners to Olympians to, you know, quarter horse world show champions to, you know, Charlie the pony that is given the first ride to, you know, dozens and dozens of kids. And it's, you know, some of those ponies are so worth their weight in gold. And so we want to make sure we honor them as well. And so that's what's really kind of fun about it. And but it is funny too. We've worked with a lot of different Hollywood studios and whatnot on everything from Horse Whisperer to you know, Flicka and Seabiscuit and Spirit and Dreamer. And when we were working on Dreamer, it was fun because Dakota Fanning and her sister got so excited about Breyer making a model of the horse from the film that they wanted to come out and see how the horses were made. So it was really fun because they actually came out to our facility in New Jersey, and we have a little painting studio. And at that time, we were molding all of our horses and doing all of the production. And so it was 11-year-old Dakota, 8-year-old Elle, Dakota's mom, her grandmother, her agent, her tutor's husband. I mean, it was a whole entourage of people, but it was so fun because it was an opportunity for us to show her a little bit about that. And it's funny, I actually have a picture I had taken of the group of us in our facility. So it's kind of fun. And I was tempted, of course, I'm like, oh, can we do something with the media for this? But you know what? It was all about a little girl's love of horses.
Yeah.
So I talked to the agent, and she's like, she just really wants to be a kid. And I'm like, absolutely, like that is what we're all about. So come on out and have fun. Although I did call our CFO and I said, Arthur, do we have insurance for this? What if she falls down and skins her knee? And
oh no.
I said, this is not your average, 11-year-old girl coming out to visit us. So it was kind of fun. But I loved it.
Absolutely.
And she and her whole family were just awesome. It was a great experience.
That is so cool. So like being on the Horse Whisperer, did you see Robert Redford, or did he talk about the horses, or?
Well, what's funny? So with the Horse Whisperer, we met Scarlett Johansson and Sam Neill, who happened to be filming a scene at that time. Wow. Robert Redford wasn't there, but his stunt double was there. And I tell you, I never realized that the stunt doubles really often can really look like that person. And it was uncanny, the resemblance. And but that was super fun. And what was funny about the Horse Whisperer is in the book, the horses were I think Seal Brown or Dark Bay, Pilgrim was the main character. And you never know in a movie what they're going to look like. And so because they're going to cast horses that can also do the job. And so Buck Brannaman was involved, and Rex Peterson. And so I didn't know whose horses were doing what in the film and what have you. And nobody knew. When I would talk to Disney, or I would talk to the agent, and I would say, well, what are the final horses going to look like? Because if we're making models of the horses in the film, we need to know. And so we ended up on set, and we were able to ask and actually get our own photographs of the horses, because some of them were wearing makeup for different stars and socks. And so that was also cool to learn that horses wear makeup in the movies. And
it's really cool.
And then we worked with Robert Redford's personal assistant, and what we were able to do, which was really cool, is, well, I didn't actually get to meet him personally. We did get to be able to use his imagery on our packaging, which his PA said he never provides commercial use other than for his Sundance catalog. But she said he doesn't do that with any other brand. He said, but Breyer is something that is close to his heart. And so yes, awesome. You can use his photos on your packaging. So that was also just another testament of how Breyer as a brand touches people in so many ways, because they know that so much of what we do is inspiring kids about the horse world, and inspiring, well, adults about the horse world as well. And that's really, what makes my day as a, part of the company.
Wow. It goes back to a testament of the company itself, but also the quality of the product. That it's okay to, give your likeness, to let them use it, because you're not going to tarnish it.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's something we take very seriously. I think one of the most important things with the Breyer brand is our integrity. And our whole team, whether it's our events team, and our events team of 3, it's not like we're actually a small family-owned business, so we're not huge. But everybody in the company is very careful about that. And so whether we're working with a horse owner, whether we're working with an artist, There are times when we don't all agree on something, and that's okay. In the
Right.
end, if, a horse owner just decides that, I don't know, they want something different, or it's not just the right time for us to work with them on a horse for whatever reason, it's okay. It's like, well, when the right time comes along, let us know, and vice versa. If an artist wants to go in a particular direction, but we don't feel it's necessarily going to suit what our fans are looking for, again, it's okay. It's one of those things where there's no judgment taken. It's got to be the right thing for everybody. And so that's something I think that's really important, is that we do maintain those relationships. And that's why, when we have associations that are always sending us, hey, take a look at this horse, or, keep an eye on this one, might go to the Olympics, or, whatever the case may be, it's kind of fun.
Thank you for listening to the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. Scott will be right back with Stephanie Macejko. For more information on Scott Knudsen, the Cowboy Entrepreneur, visit us online at cowboyentrepreneur.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Knudsen, host of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show, heard on KCAA, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'd like to talk to you about something I'm very passionate about. Those that know me know I love my coffee. In the morning, afternoon, and even late in the evening, I enjoy a good cup of coffee almost any time of the day. Now, my team at the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show has been working for several months on creating and introducing our own brand of coffee. We wanted to make sure that we got it just right. We don't want to put our name on anything unless we're 100% certain that it's the best product available, and we've finally done it. We have created a wonderful line of coffees, 13 fantastic flavors offered in whole bean, ground, and K-cups, any way you like to brew your coffee. Now, each of our coffees carries our brand, the very same brand that we put on our horses, our trailers, and our chaps. So you know that this is a quality product. And we only use 100% Arabica beans, the very best beans available. Just listen to some of these wonderful blends and flavors. Jamaican Me Crazy, Honduran San Marcos, Chocolate Cherry Amaretto, Breakfast Blend, and my very favorite, Haley's Blend. A coffee so good, we named it after my daughter. You can order these coffees today by going online to cowboyentrepreneur.shop. That's cowboyentrepreneur.shop. And if you order today, you can get an extra 10% off your final purchase just by entering the promo code Cowboy on checkout. Remember, that's promo code Cowboy for an extra 10% off. Just go to cowboyentrepreneur.shop to order your coffee today.
Cool. So another fun story, y'all were at an event, and I believe Ron Howard stopped by.
So that is another wonderful touch point. We have a huge event in the toy industry because we're a reflection of the horse world, but we're really always working with where America shops. So we have to market to, a Walmart or a Target, all the different types of retailers out there. We're in a lot of agricultural stores like a Tractor Supply Company. So a lot of those retailers, in order to see what's new and different across the entire toy industry, they're going to go to the New York Toy Fair, and that's held at the Javits Center, typically in February each year. And so it's a place for us to showcase, along with all of the other big toy companies, what types of products that we have. And so a lot of the Hollywood studios also come because there are relationships. Of course, there's been a Transformers movie and, different superheroes. And then some toy companies make, figures of those superheroes. So Ron Howard's Imagine Entertainment with Brian Grazier, they have a kids and family division. And it's relatively new and something that they're looking to grow and looking for content. And so, yes, we ended up with Ron Howard at our Toy Fair booth and talking with us about the potential of creating a new series called Breyer Hollow that would be a live action, but would have some of the wholesome values of certainly the horse industry, but then kind of an artistry component to it too, with some of the characters, and just some interesting things that we could potentially collaborate on, and then also have the toy product for. So what was fun is that Ron actually lives in Connecticut, and I used to live in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and I used to ride on a lot of the fox hunt trails in the Stamford, Greenwich area. And Ron's house is in Greenwich, and he does know of the Greenwich Trail Ride Association and all of the folks that try to keep that country lifestyle still happening in the backcountry there. And he said that his daughter is a rider, and she's very into horses. And so he said, I love Hollywood, but I wanted my family to grow up outside of Hollywood. So he said, that's why I've always been in Connecticut, because it's very grounding, but yet I'm still close to New York. I can get to LA easily. He said, but my family grew up and they have all kinds of animals. And my one daughter really understands, he said, and I see the connection of horses and kids. And so I just wanted to give him a big hug and say,
isn't that refreshing? Isn't that awesome?
Right, exactly. And we need more great stories about the horse industry out in the mainstream media to get kids off their iPhones and iPads and all that.
Absolutely. I think that show would be wonderful. I can see the family sitting around and where the moms or the dads had those toys, and it just brings everybody together, Yeah, that's exciting. It really is. I think you had another model, maybe of a horse or the braids.
I do. So I have a couple of other interesting things to show.
Yeah, I can't wait. So hopefully everybody can watch this. So
right.
on our platforms.
Yeah. So one of them is I wanted to show a little bit of a sculpture in progress, because it's kind of cool when you think about every model that we make. Well, it starts off as a concept, and it starts off as a sketch. Do we want a particular horse? This is a thoroughbred galloping, but do we want a thoroughbred standing, proud in the winner's circle? Do we want the horse trotting in the post parade, or do we want the full out gallop? So determining that first, and then the artist goes to work building a wire armature, which helps be able to identify the proportions. Have I got the proportions right? Where do I want, the action to be taking place? And then after that, the clay starts to be applied. And this horse, obviously a work in progress, but is something where the clay is being built on, the muscular starting to be defined, the expression of the face, and then all of the details will continue to be refined and added. So every Breyer model really does start out that way, with that trying to understand the best way to represent a horse. And interestingly, 3 of our artists way back in their careers were taxidermists at one point in time, which may sound really odd, but you actually do
makes sense.
Form to function.
Yeah.
And really what the muscle structure looks like. I mean, not that they were necessarily doing horses, but
right.
But for animals in general, understanding the biomechanics and the skeleton and the muscles, and so that's kind of cool. And I also wanted to share, in order to get to the youngest kids these days, kids age out pretty quickly. And what I mean is they move on to other things very fast. Kids grow up fast.
Mm-hmm.
They always have, but even more so now, out of traditional toys and into electronics, Game Boy and things you can find on, again, your iPad and YouTube. I mean, my God, all of the unboxing videos. Look up Breyer on YouTube at any given time, and you're going to find over 200,000 that are fan generated videos of them playing with their horses, unboxing, what have you. So anyways, to get to younger kids, we came out with, this is Maine Beauty. And so this is a braiding styling head.
Maine Beauty.
Yeah, and it's got beautiful hair, and that it comes braided, but then you can take this out, and we have a booklet to show kids what they can do. We have a video, in fact, on YouTube that shows a real horse being braided, in fact, a Haflinger pony, but how to create diamond braids and other types of braids. So this is something that's really fun for the kids to get involved in. And it's something, so one thing in the toy world, we're always looking at toys that play upon classic play patterns. So what do kids like to do, girls in particular? They like care and nurturing. They like dress up. And those are things that with horses, this is all the braiding is care and nurturing. They can add a halter to this model. So that's a bit of dress up. With their Breyer models, they have blankets and saddles and all kinds of things. So that's why Breyer 2 is a great gateway into the horse world, because for a non-horsey kid, they could get into it just because the play aspect is so rich. And so that's super important. But what's fun about this particular model is I also had one of our artists took it and created her own version. And so she totally repainted it. She added this beautiful mohair mane and tail. And she painted this model to look like little Ricky Rocker, who is the model. Well, he is a model, but he's also, for 17 years, he came to Breyerfest. And for 12 of those years, I rode Ricky in opening ceremonies at Briarfest. And so it's kind of fun to see one of our artists take, a cute toy and then turn it into basically a piece of artwork.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely.
And but I have to tell you a quick little story about Ricky, if I may.
Please.
Because he just passed away last year. He was, I forget exactly, but honestly, I think he was 28 or 29 years old. But even in 2019, which was his last Breyerfest, which was when we were still in person, he didn't look it. He always looked, just so full of life. He was one of those horses that when kids came around, he would drop his head and he would be so perfect for them and just really allow them to love on him and all of that. But because he was a leopard Appaloosa, and because we made a model of him, and because we get so many new kids at Briarfest every year, we sell tickets to about 30% first timers. And we get over 30,000 people that come to Briarfest. So if you think about it, 10,000 people are new to the event. We always get these kids. And I had one little girl who saw him from afar and she was like, "Oh my God, is that little Ricky Rocker?" She ran up to him and she said, "I've been waiting my whole life to meet him." What was hilarious is she was like 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's been waiting her whole life to meet him. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
so,
it's very,
it's so great. You get to see all the hard work that goes into the planning and what color, everything to that.
Yes.
And that's a topper. That's the topper.
It is. And, Briarfest, the cool thing about it, so our event, we host every year in July at the Kentucky Horse Park. The last 2 years we've needed to be virtual, but we are looking forward to being back in 2022 with not only a live event, but a virtual component. We'll have a broadcast studio from Briarfest. But I have to say that Briarfest, the cool thing about it is very hands-on for kids with horses. So we cater to both the horse person or the horse lover or even the rider that really loves being around horses and knows a lot about them, but we also cater to the newcomer. And that's really one of our specialties. We have horse guests that kids can come up to, get their picture taken with, they can pet them, they can get their model signed by the owner or trainer. Awesome. We bring in over 200 live horses of all the different breeds and disciplines so that they can see everything from a Pasofino to a fell pony to a Western pleasure horse, all the different ones. And we make it a family festival. There's a lot of shopping. There's a lot of, there's over 40 workshops and seminars. There's a model horse show. There's, you can even do a 5K run on Sunday morning, get your Briarfest medal. We have a petting zoo. We have pony rides. There's this one thing that we do with kid-sized jumps It started off as just kind of like something for the kids to do themselves. Well, they started organizing little competitions. Now we actually have a charity, Just World International, who comes, and so we give them a donation and they run the kids jumping. We get hundreds and hundreds of kids who sign up for their own jumping competition. So
it's an event.
There's something for everyone. It's insane.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And I love the creative side of your business and how over the last year, how it went. Breyerfest, you just changed it up a little bit, and more people around the world were able to enjoy it. And that, I think that story is so important for people to hear, how you just changed it so quickly. And people needed it really at that time, for sure.
Yeah. When we realized by the end of February, beginning of March, that this little pandemic where, people are saying, oh, we're going to be shut down for 2 weeks and then we'll be back. You just started to realize, no, this is a bigger thing.
Right. This
is a much bigger thing. What's crazy about the whole pandemic is in January, we have, we're very close with our factories, and 2 of our factories are in China, and great people. When they started having trouble, we actually here boxed up hand sanitizer and masks in January of 2020 and shipped it all over there because they needed it. They couldn't get their hands on it. And 2 months later, we were like, oh my God, now, wait a minute, we need.
Can you ship that back?
Yeah, exactly. It was insane. It was like, oh my God, like, because, nobody anticipated the pandemic to be a worldwide.
Right.
So when we realized with Briarfest that we're not going to be on site in Kentucky and we had to make a decision, that was really the beginning of March. Our event was July, 10th. And so we decided we can do this. We can make it a virtual event. We can bring a lot of the elements that people love about Briarfest and find a way. So we quickly looked at what others were doing. I looked at other industries. I'm a runner. So I looked at, okay, what's New York Roadrunners doing? They're doing a virtual, 10K. They're doing, they're flipping to different virtual events. All right, how do we do that? We found a producer who fortunately works for NBC Sports. She lives here in New Jersey. I've known her since my American Horse Shows Association days. So I said, Jamie, can you help us? She said, yes, I think we can do this. So let's figure it out. So we had a lot of brainstorm meetings. We ended up being able to, in that short time, do 200 hours of pre-recorded content. We built an entire website. We tried to think of everything of like, what if the power goes out? Do we have a generator? So we got a huge generator outside the office to make sure. And we did have some issues. The first morning we started, the website did crash for a little bit, but we got it back up. One of our plugins in the website had an update the night before, which, was unexpected. So a lot of challenges, but what we learned about, just again, with such a tiny staff, at the time, there was just 2 people who did events on board and then me. And then 2, people that we hired to handle different areas of it, which ended up working out. But it was frightening. It was exciting. And it was one of those things where we learned so much, because at real Breyerfest, we do get people from all 50 states. I love going in the parking lot on Saturday afternoon, taking pictures of all the license plates in the parking lot, because a lot of people drive. And we'll usually get 7 to 10 countries. We'll get a couple of people from the UK, Germany, even Australia and New Zealand, the different Benelux countries and the Netherlands. And at virtual Breyerfest, we were looking at who is actually participating, and it was 107 countries last year.
That's amazing.
I mean, a tiny little island called Reunion. Of course, I don't even know where that is, but I think it's off the coast of, I don't know, Madagascar or something like something crazy like that. There was one person in Reunion who was very active, like all throughout the weekend, participating, very seriously. And we're like, who is this person? Like we just, it was so fun to think about people around the world. And we do a survey after Briarfest every year to our ticket buyers. And we got such a great response and such great feedback. And we realized we always have to have a virtual component now, because people want to take place, and they may live in another country and never be able to get to Kentucky. They may live in California, and their job, will always prevent them from being able to come out in July. And so this year, of course, we were virtual again. We ended up with 125 countries participating. And fortunately, we made good on a lot of the, glitches of last year. And it went off, pretty much without a hitch. And we had 6 hours of live broadcasting each of the 3 days. We brought in special guests into our office, still being socially distanced and all of that. But wow, what a learning experience, and what a fun way to start to really, communicate about horses with people. Like your podcast here is so cool.
Thank you.
Because you're getting so many, like you told me earlier, so many new viewers, and it's not always who you expect. Like you get an awful lot of people, and it's really fun. And it's so fun to be able to have this as a platform to communicate.
Absolutely. It's a feel-good business, because you just never know. And once you start talking to somebody, there's a horse, and then all of a sudden there's the conversation goes a different direction in a great way.
Yeah, I know. It's a very cool thing.
Yeah. And winning that award, that's a major award, the Vision Award. And you can just see by changing and going from 50 states and 4 or 5, 6, 7 countries to that many, how many of those opportunities now? And when you were talking about the license plates and the cars, I'm just thinking in my head, the families driving in and the family trips and that special time. What a feel-good business.
It is, and it is a family festival. And what's fun about it is because Breyer's been around for 70 plus years now, and Briarfest is going into its 33rd year next year, we have a lot of multiple generations. So sometimes we'll have the grandparents, the parents, and the grandkids all together for a family journey.
Amazing.
And they take paints, and they also paint the windows on their cars. And so I also take a bunch of pictures of all the, Breyerfest or bust, or, I'm headed honk if you're going to Breyerfest, and all of those fun things. And so that's really cool. And it's funny too, because we also will have families that camp out before we're even open. We start our event at 9:30 a.m. on Friday morning. And in 2019, people started lining up on Wednesday.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How awesome.
It's like the Disney World for horse lovers. And the first people in line, not in 2019, but I remember in 2018, it was a dad and a son. And he said, my son just, really, really loves coming to Briarfest. And he is involved in every aspect of it. And he's on YouTube, and he does all kinds of fun things. And he was either a teacher or a principal in the school system. And he said, this is just so cool. And the kids learn a lot, whether it's about horses or about compassion for animals, or the different cultures that develop the different breeds, how, the Clydesdales from Scotland, or the Arabians from, from Egypt. It's really kind of cool to see how the kids themselves almost learn by osmosis, learn by doing, learn by being involved. And then next thing you know, like I was that horse kid who maybe didn't ride. I started riding finally when I was 16 and got my own driver's license and got myself to a barn. But before that, I had all this kind of crazy, trivia knowledge about horses and the horse world and all that kind of thing.
But it got you there.
Yes. Yeah. It actually paved my way. And was perfect. Even working for American Horse Shows, again, now USEF, because I was in the marketing department, and at the time we recognized probably 24 different breeds and disciplines of show horses.
Wow.
And because I was in marketing, I actually had to know a little bit about all those different breeds, and I already knew a little bit about all of those different breeds.
So cool. So
yeah.
cool. So if somebody wants to get tickets, say for next year, or they want to watch, what's the best way to start studying about Breyer? Maybe people that are watching the show or listening on KCA maybe haven't thought of it, but they want to go check it out after the show. What's the best way to start following you?
Sure. Well, absolutely. Any of the social channels on Instagram and Facebook, but www.breyerhorses.com. You can sign up for our mailing list, and we'll be sending out information on Breyerfest. We put our tickets on sale on January 1st for that year's event. But prior to that, we'll be certainly doing a lot of reveals of our theme and our, celebration horse and the guest horses and horse people who will be coming to the event, all of the different activities. And also, I didn't want to forget, Scott, that I wanted to share with you a video also that shows you a little bit more about Breyerfest. And how Breyer horses are created. It's 2 minutes long. It gives you kind of a background of how we engage with horses and how our fans engage with the brand. So that also kind of will give you a little bit more of a visual feel of what we're all about as well.
Oh, that's going to be great. We'll definitely put that in the show so people can watch that and learn for sure. I'll look forward to watching it too. Absolutely. I want to go back just real quick. We're running out of time, but at Breyerfest, and I think this is so important for people to understand, there's 30,000 people there.
Yes.
From all the states. And how many, I think I wrote it down right, how many different breeds of horses are there for people to see?
Oh gosh. So I know we bring in over 200 live horses, and that's a supplement to whatever the horse park already has in their breeds barn.
So,
but I would say there's got to be at least probably 30 different breeds represented. Again, everything from fell pony, which is the type of pony that the Queen rides. We've made a model of Queen Elizabeth's Carlton Lima Emma, which is her fell pony, all the way to fjord ponies and quarter horses and thoroughbreds and paint horses and Appaloosas and Peruvian Passos, Missouri Foxtrotters, you name it, Akeltekis. I could go on and on.
So for the horse person, or even if you're not, and you just want to see a bunch of different kind of horses, it's the place. I mean, really, I travel all the time. I'm blessed to get to do that and be around a lot of different horses. But when you go to an event, it's usually that breed, maybe a couple of others,
right?
3 or 4. It's not that many. And that's really cool. And that's another reason probably why y'all got the vision award. There's so many reasons why it made sense. But but as a horse person or somebody that's not a horse person, you just want to see a bunch of horses live that maybe never done that. That's an incredible experience.
Well, and that is that's why it is like it's not just a Breyer event, it's a horse festival, and then it's an outdoor festival, and it's a family festival. So there's we're 3 days at the horse park. There's demos in the arena with all the different breeds going all day long. There's model horse painting going all day long. There's, meet and greets with the owners. There's the shopping. There's the other, workshops and seminars. We bring in people from the Equus Film Festival, and they show a couple of films at Breyerfest.
Awesome.
So when you get tired of the heat, there is the air-conditioned theater to go in and enjoy some talks. And we have all kinds of great speakers, authors, and writers of all kinds. Some of our sculptors will come as well and give demos as well as workshops. So it's an opportunity really to come. We get a lot of people. We advertise locally in the Lexington area, but that means basically most of Kentucky will promote to, as well as the surrounding states. And we get a lot of people who just come for exactly that reason that you mentioned, which is just, I have an interest in horses, or my family has an interest in horses, and what a great opportunity to see all the different breeds, all the different sports kind of in one place. And then to boot, I can go on a trail ride at the Kentucky Horse Park and see, the incredible bluegrass country that's, the 2,000 acres that the horse park is on.
It's incredible. It's just incredible. You tell I get excited, but
Well, Scott, you have to come.
I know it. I just love that so much, and bringing new people into the industry is so vital for our industry. And like you say, they don't have to be a trainer or a high level rider. They can just enjoy it. There's so many things to do in our industry, and there's so many great people. And to get people, maybe they rode at one time and they took a few years off, to get them re-engaged in the industry is just as important. Maybe they're bringing their kid back, and then all of a sudden they're back in. That's exactly. A really important deal for the industry, for sure.
And I see that a lot with parents. I can't tell you how many parents whose child may even have decided, maybe I'm going to go do lacrosse instead of, keep riding. But now mom has her own horse and dad's got his horse. And, so I think there are a lot of parents who have come back into it, started off with, with the kids, and maybe the kids have stayed in, but I've seen a lot of parents get hooks back, which is great.
That's really so wonderful. So wonderful. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for being on the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show today. And congratulations to Breyer for this wonderful award. Actually, 2 awards, but the big one for sure, the Vision Award. So
it's an absolute honor. We're really humbled and excited. And it was wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation to be on your show. And Scott, I do think I see Breyerfest in your future. So we would love
to. Thank you very much. It would be an honor for sure. For sure. Wonderful. Well, thank you. And please thank everybody at the office for everything y'all do for the industry.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the great sponsors of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. For more information about Breyer Horses, please visit their website, breyerhorses.com. If you or your business is interested in being a sponsor of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show, please call our office at 830-992-1786 or visit our website, cowboyentrepreneur.com.
Breyer is dedicated to making the most authentic horses in the world. It's what makes us unique.
They did such a good model. They've got his nose perfectly. It's 100%.
Breyer is the leader in equestrian knowledge. These people know horses.
A Breyer model is an incredible celebration of the horse.
I love horses. I think Breyers are beautiful.
Well, she's actually super gorgeous too. Like her coloring and shading are just amazing.
Oh my gosh, seriously, he is stunning.
Brace your shelves, the model horse convention is coming.
Briarfest is amazing.
It's where a bunch of collectors gather from across the world.
I traveled all the way from Germany.
It's for people who really love model horses, and love the whole horse life.
There's famous horses from all over the world. It's the best 3 days of the entire year.
It's my favorite. It's better than Christmas.
Oh, just so beautiful. We love Breyer.
He's adorable.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting so excited.
He is gorgeous. I love him.
Neither of us could have actual horses, right. So it became something that is actually teaching us more about the real horse world. There's so much artistry behind that, and I know some people who can customize them and take one model and turn it into something completely different.
Look at that coloring.
He is gorgeous.
We love